Okay, let's unpack this. Think about all the things you use every single day. You know, your toothpaste, your favorite cereal, maybe that snack you just grabbed, even cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
It's all part of what we call consumer packaged goods, or CPG. And somehow it all gets from, well, point A to point B, often across continents. It's like this huge invisible ballet of goods moving constantly. And today, we're really diving into the numbers behind it, looking at the incredible scale and the growth of this whole system.
Yeah, it's truly fascinating just how fundamental the CPG logistics sector is. I mean, for global commerce, yes, but also just for our daily convenience,
Mhm.
right? So this deep dive should really shed some light on the sheer scope of it all and also the dynamic shifts happening within it.
Right.
And we're basing our conversation today on insights from a recent cognitive market research report. It focuses specifically on the global CPG logistics market, looking at the outlook from 2021 all the way to 2033. So our mission really is to get a handle on the market's current size, see where it's heading in the future, and also, highlight the major trends shaping this absolutely vital industry region by region, even down to the country level.
So what does this actually, mean in practical terms? We're talking about an industry worth billions, billions.
Yeah.
And it's not just big, it's getting bigger fast, basically ensuring your favorite cereal, those cleaning supplies, they're always on the shelf when you need them.
Exactly. The report put some hard numbers on that. The global market, valued at a staggering 16.8 billion US dollars back in 2021.
16.8 billion. Wow.
And it doesn't stop there. It's projected to climb to nearly $20 billion by 2025. And then looking further out to 2033, it's expected to soar to almost $28 billion.
28 billion. That's a huge jump in just over a decade.
It really is. And that growth is pretty consistent, too. The report highlights a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of 4.26% for the period from 2025 to 2033.
4.26%. Okay, so that signifies what? Just steady, significant expansion.
Precisely. It shows this isn't just some, temporary blip. It underscores a sustained and really significant expansion of this critical global sector. Think about it, that means the market is set to grow by over 60% in just over 10 years.
60%.
Yeah, it's a powerful indicator of the constant evolution and, frankly, the demand and how we get our everyday goods delivered.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for me. When we break this down, where is all this growth actually happening? You hear a lot about Asia Pacific these days.
And you'd be right, too. Asia Pacific is absolutely leading the charge here. The report calls it the region demonstrating the most robust growth.
Like the acceleration lane on the CPG logistics highway, you could say?
That's a good way to put it. The numbers back it up. It's projected to almost double in size, from nearly $5.75 billion in 2021 to over $10.2 billion forecasted by 2033.
$10 billion just in Asia Pacific. But why? Is it just population? Or is something else going on there? Like, are they doing logistics differently?
Well, that's a crucial point. Population and rising consumer demand are definitely big factors, sure. But the real story, particularly in places like China and India, it's the explosion of digital-first logistics solutions.
Okay. E-commerce and all that.
Exactly. Take China. It's the largest contributor in the region, expected to grow from about $1.6 billion to nearly $3 billion. They've practically rewritten the rule book on hyper-efficient e-commerce logistics. Think about last-mile delivery. They're setting global benchmarks.
Right.
And you see similar, very strong trends in India. It's projected to nearly double its market size, too, from around $750 million to over $1.48 billion. So it's not just about volume. It's really about the innovative infrastructure, the technology, the speed they're developing.
Got it. So, okay, Asia Pacific is booming. But what about let's say, the established giants? North America, Europe, are they keeping pace, or is it a different kind of story there?
It's definitely a different dynamic. North America, for instance, represents a more, let's say, mature market, but it's still growing steadily, very significantly, in fact. It accounted for over $4.7 billion back in 2021.
Still a huge chunk.
Oh, absolutely. And it's projected to reach over $7.2 billion by 2033. Within that, the United States is predictably the dominant force. Its revenues climb from nearly $4 billion to almost $6 billion by 2033.
Okay.
But, we're also seeing promising sustained growth in places like Canada. That's projected to go from about $450 million to over $760 million. And Mexico from around $360 million to over $560 million by 2033. So maybe not the explosive percentage jumps you see in Asia, but their sheer scale means they continue to drive significant value.
Right, the base is already so large. And Europe.
Yeah.
often seen as, stable, maybe a bit more traditional. How does it fit in?
Europe fits that picture quite well. It represents a very stable and significant market for CPG logistics.
Mhm.
The value was around $3.4 billion in 2021, and it's expected to climb steadily to over $5.3 billion by 2033.
Okay, still substantial growth then.
Definitely. And key countries like Germany, the UK, France, they continue to be major contributors, showing consistent growth. Germany, for example, looking to go from around $680 million towards $1.1 billion. The UK from about $515 million to over $830 million.
Mm-hmm.
The focus in Europe, perhaps more than elsewhere, is often on things like optimization, increasing efficiency, and integrating sustainability practices into these already well-established supply chains. Less about brand new market penetration, maybe, and more about refining what's there.
That makes sense. It's easy to just get lost in all these billions, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you stop and think about the actual logistics. Moving that many packets of chips or bottles of soda around the world every day. It's kind of mind-boggling.
It really is.
So what about the regions that are maybe just starting to really ramp up their logistical capabilities, the emerging markets?
Yeah, we're certainly seeing emerging potential, definitely in South America. The market there is expected to grow from just over $1.1 billion in 2021 to nearly $2 billion by 2033.
Almost doubling too then.
Pretty much. Brazil is leading the charge there, represents a big slice of that growth, followed by countries like Argentina and Colombia also showing solid increases. And often this growth is tied to, well, expanding middle classes, increasing urbanization, which naturally drives demand for more sophisticated CPG distribution networks. You need ways to get goods into those growing cities efficiently.
Right, right. And then what about the Middle East and Africa? Are they following similar paths, or do they have their own sort of unique drivers?
The Middle East is showing really dynamic expansion. The report details growth from just under $1 billion in 2021 to over $1.6 billion by 2033.
Okay, quite dynamic. What's fueling that?
A lot of it seems to be fueled by significant infrastructure investments, new ports, logistics hubs, plus a rapidly modernizing retail landscape. Think about countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE. They're actively investing in these areas, including e-commerce capabilities, to support their growing consumer bases.
Interesting. And Africa,
Yeah.
often talked about as the next frontier for growth.
Absolutely. Africa is described as a region of, well, untapped opportunities. Now, it's starting from a lower base, for sure. Around $770 million in 2021, but it's set to increase to nearly $1.3 billion by 2033.
Still significant growth potential there.
Huge potential. Key economies like South Africa and Nigeria are leading the way. Of course, the challenges there can be significant, infrastructure gaps, maybe regulatory complexities in some places, but the sheer size of the population and the fact that it's growing presents this undeniable long-term opportunity for CPG logistics. It's a continent really poised for considerable future development in the sector.
So, okay, bringing it all together, we've toured the globe, seen these massive numbers. What does this intricate, expanding global network actually mean for you, the person listening, the consumer?
Well, fundamentally, it means a world where your daily necessities, the things you rely on, are just more accessible than ever before. It's all powered by this incredibly complex system that, as you said, most of us rarely even think about.
Right. It just
Yeah.
works, mostly.
Exactly. And that raises a really important question, doesn't it? How does this massive interconnected system actually ensure that whether you're shopping in Shanghai or New York or maybe Sao Paulo, the products you expect to find are consistently available and fresh if it's food?
Yeah, how do they do that?
Well, the report's insights really underscore the incredible orchestration required. It's not just one thing. It's the supply chain innovations we talked about in Asia, the steady optimization happening in Europe, the burgeoning infrastructure in emerging markets. It's this constant evolution, like a complex game of global Tetris, maybe. Always trying to make sure everything slots into place just in time.
Global Tetris. I like that.
Yeah.
So next time you pick up, I don't know, a bottle of shampoo or a bag of coffee at the store, maybe take just a second to consider the incredible journey it took. This multi-billion-dollar global trip to get into your hands. It really is a testament to the sort of quiet efficiency of this whole CPG logistics market.
Yeah.
A massive behind-the-scenes operation. We see Asia-Pacific driving a lot of the new expansion.
Yeah.
Well, the traditional powerhouses like North America and Europe keep climbing steadily. And then these emerging markets showing really promising dynamic development. It's happening everywhere.
It truly does make you appreciate the remarkable precision, the
Yeah.
planning, the foresight needed just to sustain our modern consumer lives, doesn't it?
It really does.
And this deep dive into the numbers, well, it just shows us that this crucial, often overlooked world of CPG logistics, it's only going to become even more impactful, probably even more innovative in the years ahead, constantly adapting, just trying to get you what you need exactly when you need it. Makes you think.
When you grab your morning coffee or pick up your favorite snack from the store, do you ever really stop and think about how it got there?
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It really is. It feels almost magical. But behind all that convenience, there's this incredibly complex, super fast-paced system at work, mostly unseen.
Mm.
And that's what we're diving into today. The world of consumer packaged goods logistics, or CPG logistics. It's basically the hidden network that's constantly changing how everyday things reach you, all across the globe.
Yeah.
We're planning to go sort of behind the scenes here, pull out the key insights from the latest research, and really sunpack the coordination involved. It's often quite surprising.
It really is like a hidden choreography, as you said. CPG logistics, it's not just shuffling boxes around. It's about keeping this constant, really intricate flow going. That's what keeps modern life running smoothly, right? Making sure everything from fresh food to your shampoo is always available. And the insights we're talking about today, they come from some really thorough, up-to-date research by Cognitive Market Research.
Okay, great. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear then. We want to explore what's really pushing this market forward, the drivers, maybe some unexpected ones, and also what's holding it back, the restraints. And then look at the really cutting-edge trends that are shaping its future. We promise to connect it all back to, your own everyday experiences.
Sounds good.
So let's get into it. What are the big forces, the main movements in this logistical dance that are really driving change?
Well, it's fascinating because one of the biggest drivers is actually you, the consumer, your behavior. Cognitive market research really highlights this.
Oh, interesting. How so?
The massive explosion of e-commerce, for one, and this whole idea of omni-channel distribution, buying anywhere, getting it anywhere.
Right, yeah.
I mean, the boom in online shopping hasn't just tweaked CPG logistics, it's fundamentally rewritten the rulebook.
Right.
People now expect not just fast delivery, but like really fast delivery. Plus, real-time tracking, super easy returns. It's gone from being a nice-to-have to, well, basically a baseline expectation. It's non-negotiable now for many people.
Wow. So it's way beyond just clicking buy. It forces a whole rethink of the back end, the logistics. Are companies managing to keep up?
They're certainly trying and investing heavily. You see logistics providers, retailers too, putting a lot of money into things like micro-fulfillment centers.
Micro-fulfillment. What's that exactly?
Think of like mini warehouses, often tucked away in urban areas, sometimes even in the back of existing stores or repurposed spaces. And the whole point is to get products closer to you so they can potentially reach you in, hours or even minutes, not days.
Right. That makes sense for cities.
Exactly. And they're also rolling out really sophisticated order management systems, obsessing over that last mile delivery, that final, crucial, and often most expensive step to your door. This whole shift towards being more responsive, more tech-enabled, it's absolutely vital for meeting those omni-channel demands you were talking about.
Okay, so speed is critical. What else is really stirring things up? Especially thinking about the types of products we buy now.
That's a great point, because speed is just one piece. Another huge driver is the growing demand for cold chain logistics, temperature control.
For like fresh food, frozen stuff.
Precisely. Think fresh produce, dairy, frozen meals, even some pharmaceuticals that are becoming more like CPGs. Maintaining the exact temperature right across the supply chain is absolutely critical.
I guess a slight change could ruin everything.
Exactly. Even a tiny variance, maybe just a couple of degrees, can spoil a whole shipment. We're talking millions in losses sometimes.
Wow.
So companies are deploying things like IoT monitoring tools, tiny smart sensors inside refrigerated trucks, constantly sending back temperature data.
Real-time updates.
Yeah, instant alerts if anything starts to drift. They're also expanding their refrigerated truck fleets, building specialized cold storage warehouses. It's all about guaranteeing product safety and quality. Right from the farmer factory to your fridge, it's like this hidden battle against the thermometer.
That level of precision is, something I hadn't fully appreciated.
Yeah.
So we have speed, temperature control. What's the third big force pushing things along?
If we zoom out a bit, the third major one is globalization. Supply chains and manufacturing spreading further across the world.
Right. Companies making things overseas to save costs or reach new customers.
Exactly. To cut costs, tap into new markets, CPG brands are expanding internationally like never before. But this creates incredibly complex logistics puzzles.
I bet. Customs, different types of transport.
You got it. Navigating intricate customs rules, managing multimodal transport, using a mix of ships, trains, trucks seamlessly for one single shipment and keeping track of inventory globally. It's tough.
So who handles that?
This is where third-party logistics providers, 3PLs, and these newer digital freight platforms really step up. They act almost like global conductors, orchestrating all these complex cross-border movements.
Okay, so those are some powerful drivers pushing innovation.
Mm.
But like any complex system, I imagine there's some pretty big roadblocks too. What's holding the CPG logistics market back?
Yeah, that's definitely the other side of the coin. And a major one is simply cost. High operational costs and constant pressure on margins.
Like fuel prices, labor.
All of the above. Rising fuel costs, ongoing labor shortages, especially finding enough skilled truck drivers and warehouse workers, general inflation, plus the inherent difficulty and cost of that last mile delivery we mentioned. It all squeezes profits.
Hmm.
And the Cognitive Market Research Report points out that smaller logistics companies in particular really struggle. They often can't afford the big investments in automation that could help them compete.
So it limits their ability to grow or innovate.
Precisely. These financial pressures can really stifle innovation and make it hard to scale up. It's a tough environment for many players.
Sounds like it. What other big challenges are they bumping up against?
Another significant one, maybe surprisingly, is still the lack of really good real-time visibility and data sharing across the whole network.
You'd think with all the tech.
You would, wouldn't you? But despite the advances, a lot of logistics networks are still quite fragmented. Different systems don't talk to each other: transport, warehousing, retail systems.
So it's hard to see the whole picture.
Exactly. Without that seamless connection, it's incredibly difficult to track inventory accurately in real time or react quickly if there's a disruption, like a storm or a port delay.
And that leads to.
Well, frustrating stockouts on shelves, annoying delivery delays for you, and ultimately unhappy customers. It's like trying to conduct an orchestra when half the musicians can't see the conductor or hear each other properly.
That's a good analogy. And then there's all the rules and regulations, plus growing environmental pressures, right? That must add another layer of difficulty. Oh, absolutely. And that layer is getting thicker all the time. Regulatory and environmental compliance is a constant moving target.
Things like food safety, packaging waste, emissions. You've nailed it. Strict food safety standards, new laws about packaging waste, tighter emissions controls for trucks. Logistics providers have to navigate this complex web of rules that vary from place to place.
And that costs money and time, I assume.
Big time. Complying can be expensive and incredibly complicated, and if you don't comply, you risk hefty fines or worse, serious damage to the company's reputation. It's not just about getting the product there anymore, it's about getting it there the right way, ethically and legally.
Okay, so we've seen the forces pushing forward and the challenges holding things back. But the industry isn't just standing still, right? What are the big trends shaping the future of CPG logistics? What are the new moves we're seeing?
This is where it gets really exciting, I think. Technology is really stepping in as the solution to many of those challenges we just talked about.
Like automation, AI.
Exactly. A huge trend is the faster adoption of automation, artificial intelligence, and robotics. Think robotic systems whizzing around warehouses, picking orders, AI plotting the most efficient delivery routes, maybe even autonomous delivery vans or drones down the line.
Robots packing my groceries. That's quite a thought.
It's happening. Cognitive market research highlights how machine learning is also being used for things like predicting when equipment might fail or forecasting demand much more accurately.
And the benefit is?
It helps reduce human error, cuts down reliance on scarce labor, and lowers overall operating costs. It's kind of like that sci-fi future is actually starting to arrive in the logistics world.
I have noticed delivery is getting quicker, but yeah, I never pictured robots or these dark stores behind it all. Sounds very efficient, almost secretive. What other big shifts are happening?
If you look at the bigger picture, there's also a really strong move towards sustainable or green logistics.
Oh, the environmental angle again.
Yes, but this time as a proactive trend. Climate change awareness is pushing brands hard to shrink their carbon footprint.
So what are they doing? Electric vans?
That's part of it. Electric delivery vehicles, route optimization software that minimizes mileage and emissions, using more biodegradable packaging, even building warehouses powered by solar panels. These kinds of initiatives are becoming much more common.
So it's not just good PR, it's actually becoming a requirement.
Increasingly, yes. Sustainability is shifting from just being a nice value to a real competitive differentiator. It's almost like a badge of honor that shows a company is responsible. Customers are starting to expect it too.
That's great to hear efficiency and ethics coming together.
Yeah.
Okay, so automation, sustainability, what about getting things to us even faster, like ridiculously fast? What's the final big trend there?
That ties directly into the push towards hyperlocal delivery models and perfecting that last mile. Especially in cities, consumers want things ultra fast. Same day is often the standard now, sometimes even within the hour.
Within an hour, wow. How do they manage that?
Well, remember those micro-fulfillment centers, that's key. Building localized hubs close to customers. But they're also experimenting with all sorts of approaches.
Like what?
Using gig economy drivers for quick local drops, testing out delivery drones in some areas, and those dark stores you mentioned.
Right, the stores with no customers.
Yeah, basically retail spaces converted purely for fulfilling online orders super quickly. No aisles to browse, just optimized for picking and packing at speed.
It sounds intense.
It is. But this model drastically improves how quickly they can respond to your order, and it really boosts customer satisfaction, especially for everyday items where you want them now.
Okay, quite a landscape.
So yeah, if we try to pull it all together, summing up this whole deep dive, the consumer packaged goods logistics market is clearly going through a massive, really pivotal shift.
Definitely feels that way.
And this huge transformation, it's really being driven by, well, digital technology everywhere, companies expanding globally, and crucially, the constantly changing expectations of consumers like you.
Right. And we've seen there's still big challenges. Those high costs, the regulatory hurdles, they haven't just vanished.
No, not at all.
But the progress, especially in things like automation, making logistics greener, getting smarter with data, it really points towards a future system that's much more flexible, more efficient, and definitely more focused on the customer.
Yeah.
That's certainly the picture painted by the Cognitive Market Research Insights, a state of constant evolution.
And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, is to think about how you might start seeing these trends pop up in your own life. Maybe it's your groceries arriving surprisingly fast, or noticing more sustainable packaging on something you ordered online, or perhaps seeing new services pop up offering to get you essentials almost instantly.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the next big innovation that will become standard for how everything from your milk to your latest impulse buy actually gets to your door?
It's a great question. It really encourages you to pause and just appreciate that complex hidden dance, the choreography as we called it, that makes sure all your daily stuff arrives reliably. Understanding these forces, even just a little, helps you become, I think, a bit more informed about the world humming along around you.